Hey guys, so today, last day of the challenge, we're just going to do a yoga flow, so no equipment needed. So there's a little bit of strength and mobility built into this, like all of the sessions, and as always, just do what you feel comfortable with. It's not going to suit everyone. It is aimed at my clients, but see what you can do. So you're going to stand at the end of your mat with a nice soft bend in your knees. You're going to press into your feet, really let them ground down into the mat. Pressing into your feet, inhale as you reach the arms up. And then exhale, arms come down across your body, nod your chin to your chest, and let yourself just come into a forward fold. For this first forward fold, just notice what your body feels like. So is there tension in the backs of your legs, in your calf, in your back? And just remember where it is, and then we'll recheck at the end. Then bring your hands to your shins. Inhale to lift halfway. Your spine is parallel to the floor. And exhale to fold back down. Walk your hands gently forward on the mat to come onto all fours. Flatten the feet. Inhale, come into your cow pose. And exhale, come into your cat pose. Tuck the toes underneath and walk the hands gently back towards the feet. Press the feet firmly into the ground and then inhale as you reach up, arms overhead. And we're going to repeat that little flow 3 times. Folding forward, keeping the knees soft, a nice bend in them. A breath in takes you to a halfway lift. And a breath out, you fold. Walk the hands mindfully forward so you're planting all of the fingers into the mat. Flatten the feet, inhale into your cow and get a breath out to take you back to your cat. Tuck the toes underneath and start to walk the hands back, the weight going back into your feet. And when they're firmly planted, press into your feet and round back up, reaching the arms overhead. 2 more, going with the pace of your own breath. So just a forward fold, a halfway lift, a forward fold, walking forward onto all fours, and then doing your cat-cow. Tuck the toes underneath, walking the hands back to the feet, and arms reach overhead. Again, folding forward, keep the knees soft. Breath in takes you into a halfway lift. And a breath out, fold all the way forward. Hands start to walk forward onto all fours. Flatten the feet. A breath in takes you into a cow. And a breath out, you round into a cat. Last round, again, the most important thing is moving with your breath. So a breath in starts your movement, coming up, reaching the arms overhead. And your breath out initiates the movement as you fold forward. Coming up into halfway lift. Folding forward. And walking the hands forward onto all fours. When you're here, we're going to do 5 rounds of cat-cow with your breath. So as you inhale, lift your head and your tail. And as you exhale, round. You can think about starting with your tailbone, going into your lower back, your upper back, your head and neck. And then you can start with the head, chin to the chest, breastbone lifts, lower back rounds, tailbone tucks. So you can imagine starting at one end of your spine and that the movement ripples through the whole spine. And 2 more with the pace of your own breath. When you're in tabletop, walk your hands forward slightly. Move your body forward so the hips press you forward so your shoulders are just over your hands. Elbows keep in nice and tight to your waist as you lower down. When you're on your tummy, inhale. Think about length through your spine as you lift your head and your chest. Hands stay on the ground. And a breath out to lower down. And going for 2 more of those little mini cobras with the pace of your breath. Elbows reach back by your side. You're not forcing it, you're just trying to move with ease. Then reaching your hands forward on the mat. They're a little bit wider than shoulder distance apart, and your feet are in line with your hips. Think about the right hand and the left leg. They're going to work together. So on your next breath out, lift the right arm and the left leg. Inhale to let them lower. Breathe out, belly draws away from the mat as you breathe out to lift the arm and the leg. Inhale, belly expands into the mat as you lower. Breath out to lift. Breath in to lower. Going for 5 more. Breathing out on the lift. Feel the muscles around your right shoulder blade and your left butt cheek work. Inhale to lower. Last 3. Last 2, your chin is slightly tucked and your head can just be floating off the ground, or if it needs a break you can rest down. You can have a little rolled up towel under your forehead to keep your neck in neutral. And last one. Swap to the other side. Give your hips a little bit of a wiggle and a shake before you do. Focus on the left hand, right leg. Breathe out to lift and breathe in to lower. Breathe out to lift. Breathe in to lower. Focus on the left shoulder blade and the right butt cheek. That's where you should feel a little bit of the work happening. And you got 5 more to go. If your head needs a rest and you don't have a towel, your right hand can come under your forehead. Last 2. And last 1. Bring the hands back underneath your shoulders. Press through the hands. Move into a cat position so you're arching your back, and then slowly press back into a child's pose. Your hands stay forward. 3 breaths here, breathing in, filling up the lungs and the rib cage. And as you breathe out, let your body be supported by the mat and the ground. Breathe in, your hands are almost reaching forward. Breathe out, let that reach relax. Then walk the hands over to the left edge of your mat. Right hand can go beside or on top of the left hand. And take in 3 breaths here, breathing into the right side of the rib cage. So as you breathe in, feel that right side of the rib cage expand and open up. And then walk the hands over to the right side. Left hand on top of right or just beside it. And again, this time focusing on breathing into that left side of the rib cage. And do notice if there's a difference between sides. Does one feel tighter, stiffer? Bringing your hands back to the center. Coming up into all fours, tucking your toes underneath, and then walking the hands back. So we're coming into standing again. Press the feet firmly into the ground, keep a soft bend in the knees as you roll all the way up and reach the arms overhead. Take a hold of your left wrist with the right hand, reach the left hand up to open up through that left side of the rib cage, and then reach up and over to the right. Come back to the center, swap hands, left hand grasps the right wrist, reach the right arm up towards the ceiling first, thinking about space in that right side of your rib cage, and then gently reaching over to the left. And bring the hands all the way back down. Coming into a little bit of balance. You're going to bring your hands to your hips. You're going to shift your weight to the left leg, and you're going to pick the right leg up. So lifting using your hip And then when we're here, you're going to maintain that balance. So really focus on that left foot, especially the ball of the big toe and the outer heel planted down into the mat. Think about growing tall away from the mat. And then inhale to straighten and exhale to bend. So a little bit of hamstring mobility while everything else is working in the area. And then keeping the knee bent to 90 degrees. See if you can open that right leg out to the side and bring it back in. And just go as far as you can, maintain your balance. Everyone will be a little bit different. Last two. It's okay to feel the muscles around the top of your hips starting to work here. And then keep that leg up, and as slowly as you can, almost like you're in a slow motion video, can you step that foot forward and plant it softly down on the ground. Think about both feet now, so your knee is over the heel of the front foot like a pillar, and that front foot is planted to give you a stable base, and the back foot you're driving or pressing through the ball of the back foot. So you got a lot of energy running through your legs and activation. And then inhale as you reach your arms up. And we're here for 3 breaths. As you breathe out, focus on your feet grounding down into the floor. And as you inhale, almost think about pushing through your feet so you can reach away from the mat. Exhale, ground back down. And then inhale, push into the feet as you reach. Last breath like this. And then we're going to bring our hands back to our hips, and we're going to turn to come into a really wide stance. So feet wider than your hips, and toes, big toes pointing straight ahead or almost slightly inwards. If the toes are slightly in, the knees are turned slightly in. Place your hands on your hips, and we're going to fold forward from your hips, just until your body's parallel with the floor. You can have a soft bend in your knees. Holding here for 3 breaths, so getting a little bit of length in our hamstrings, but also making your hamstrings work in a lengthened position to hold your torso. If this is okay for you and your hamstrings and your back, you can progress. Otherwise, you can just stay in this position with your hands on your thighs, your hands dangling. If this feels good and comfortable for you, allow your whole torso to round down, head heavy. And you're taking 3 breaths here. So your body is either parallel to the floor or your whole body is folded forward towards the floor. Then really press into the feet. Bring your hands back onto your hips. Bring your torso nice and long and parallel to the floor if you've been folded forward. And then press into the feet to come upright. Turning the feet out. So big toe and knee and thigh points outwards on both feet. And then we're going to go down into a squat. So bum goes back and knees track over your toes. When you're here, bring your hands up to the center. You're going to nod your chin to your chest. Breastbone is almost moving or trying to get away from your elbows. So your spine is rounded. And then your breastbone is going to lift up and your arms are going to open out. On an exhale breath, arms close, breastbone moves back as your spine rounds. On a breath in, breastbone lifts and moves forward as the arms open. Chin to the chest as you round on your breath out. And a breath in to open. And just go for 2 more. Go a little bit lower into your squat if you can. So can you use your legs to stabilize you and support you? And can your upper back, shoulders move freely? Placing your hands on your legs again, press up into standing, and then turn back into your high lunge position at the top towards the front of the mat. You're going to inhale to reach your arms up, and this time we're going to add a bit of movement with the arms. You're going to exhale, hands face down to the ground like you're pushing back through water as your hip hinges forward. Inhale, thumbs lead the way as you reach up. You can look up if you're able to maintain your balance. And exhale, press the hands back. Inhale, thumbs lead up, which just gives your shoulders a little bit more space to move. And then as you exhale and press back, pushing down through the hands to activate your lat muscles, your big muscles down the sides of your torso. And last one. This time as you press down, you're going to lower down into a low lunge, flatten the back foot if it's more comfortable, and you're going to inhale, just reach the left hand up. Take another breath in and think about reaching that hand towards the ceiling and then reaching it over to the right. We just feel a nice stretch or opening through the front of the left hip without having to drive it forward. And then on your next breath out, let that left hand come down onto the right thigh and gently turn your torso to the right as far as is comfortable for you. And 2 breaths here. Then inhale, both arms up. Exhale, arms to the ground. That leg goes back. Press back into your active child's pose so the hands are actively reaching forward. And just take 2 breaths here. And notice what your body feels like. If it feels good, if something is working too hard and you need to change to the next round, do. Tuck your toes underneath, bring your hands under your shoulders. Press your hands into the ground and begin to walk back, flat on your feet. Press through the feet, inhale to reach all the way up. Arms stay up here, take a hold of your left wrist to reach up and slightly over to the side. Bring yourself back to the center, take a hold of your right wrist, reach up and slightly over to the left. Bring the hands down to the hips. This time you're going to shift your weight onto your right leg. I hope, yes. You're onto your right leg, your left leg lifts. As you inhale, straighten the left knee, and as you exhale, bend. So a little bit of mobility for our hamstrings, while the rest of our body is still quite active. And then keep the knee bent, keep the knee in line with the hip, and see if you can open that leg out to the side a little, and then bring it back. So just challenging your hip mobility. If all of your hip muscles are quite tight and bracing and gripping to protect, or if you have pain, if that's why they're gripping, then you won't be able to move the leg as freely. Your whole pelvis will want to twist with it. So don't force it if it's not able to. And then here, challenge, you're going to keep this leg up, and as slow motion and as softly as you can, you're going to see if you can step that foot forward. You're on the ball of the back foot, your front foot is planted and your knee is over your heel. Inhale to sweep the arms up, moving with just your breath here for 4 breaths. Inhale, press into the ground. It's like your body is reaching away from the mat all the way through to your fingertips. And then exhale, focus on grounding down through your feet, through your stable base. 3 more breaths like that. Then you're going to turn. I'll be facing away this time. I'll just end up facing you. So you can move yourself around whichever way you want to see the camera, move the camera. We're going to start off with our toes pointed in and our thighs pointed inwards slightly. And then from here you're going to fold at the hips, so the same as the last round. Fold at the hips. If you're comfortable here, you're staying here for 3 breaths, everybody is anyway. Letting your hamstrings wake up, letting them know that they have to support you. You can keep a soft bend in your knees. If that is comfortable for your body, allow your spine to round forward towards the floor. And 3 breaths here. With every breath out, you can imagine your hamstrings lengthening a little bit, but staying strong, and that will allow you to move a little bit closer to the floor. If you don't move at all, don't force it. Two more breaths here. Knees can be bent. Then press into the feet. Slowly bring your hands back to your hips. Bring your spine so it's parallel to the floor, nice and long. And then pushing into the feet, using your bum and your hamstring muscles, come back up into standing. Turn the feet outwards, so toes and knees face outwards. You are going to sit down into your squat again. And you're going to bring your hands to the front of your chest. Open the arms, breastbone lifts, and you look straight ahead. And then the arms close, the breastbone moves back, so your thoracic spine rounds, your chin comes to your chest. Open the arms, arms open. Chest lifts. As the arms come in, your breastbone moves back. So we're trying to get your thoracic spine or your upper back moving in unison with your shoulders and your arms. And oftentimes when there's a disconnect there or your thoracic spine is stiff and does not do that forward and back movement, you can start getting a bit of shoulder impingement, shoulder pain. Last one. Bring the hands down. We're going to come back to our high lunge position. So I'm just going to shimmy back around. So your left foot's in front, your right foot's on the back. Now we're going to add in movement with the breath again. You're going to inhale, lift the arms up. Thumbs are leading the way. And then exhale, press your palms down as if they're pushing through water as your hips hinge forward. Inhale, press into the feet first, and then lift, thumbs lead. And then exhale, press down through the palms. Feel the weight go back into your feet. Inhale, press into the feet as you reach away. Exhale, press down. Last two at the pace of your breath. On your last one, as you press down, you'll lower down into a low lunge, flatten the back foot if it's more comfortable, and then inhale, reach the right arm up. On your next breath in, think about reaching that right arm higher, and you'll start to feel a stretch through the front of the right hip. If you don't, you can think about your tailbone reaching down, and then reach over to the left slightly. And 2 breaths here. That right arm is going to come down towards your left thigh. And then as you inhale, you're going to think about being tall through your spine and a gentle twist to the left. So just as far as is comfortable for you. Then bringing it back to the center, bringing your hands to the ground, bringing that left leg back. Knees together if you can, and moving back into your child's pose. If child's pose isn't suitable for you, you can do a cat-cow, or you can lie on your back with your knees hugged into your chest. Relax your head down, relax your hands back by your sides. And we're just staying here for 5 breaths. So making the length of our breath a little bit longer and a little bit slower. Breathing through your nose if possible. And bringing the hands back underneath your shoulders, you're going to come up into a sitting position, and feel free to sit on a chair if this position is not comfortable for you. It's not for a lot of people. So sitting on a chair or sitting on your mat, you're going to have your hands out by your side, and we're going to try and get that breastbone shoulder movement going again. So as you inhale, your breastbone lifts. If you imagine a laser beam on your breastbone, when you're slumped down, the laser beam is pointed towards the mat. As you inhale, the laser beam lifts to the wall in front of you. You think about opening up across your collarbones, arms spin outwards, palms face forward. As you breathe out, the breastbone starts to move again, so that laser beam moves down. Your shoulders roll inwards, palms face down. Inhale, breastbone lifts, shoulders roll out. Exhale, breastbone lowers, shoulders roll in. Just going for 2 more, your head follows the movement. Coming back to neutral, bring your hands across the center of your chest. Inhale, lift the breastbone as the hands go past it and you reach your arms up overhead. Take a hold of your left arm, reach it up long towards the ceiling and a nice side stretch over to the right. Think about your left thumb getting pulled back and you can gaze up towards your left arm if that's comfortable for you. Bring yourself back to the center. Lower the hands, breastbone drops down. And inhale, bring the hands past your chest and let your breastbone follow almost the hands as they reach up. Take a hold of your right wrist. Think about reaching that right arm up towards the ceiling and then reaching over to the left, just gently to open up that right side of your ribcage, Turn your head or turn your chest slightly to the right to open up through that right side a little bit more. Coming back to the center, hands come down, breastbone rounds down. Last round, you're going to inhale, breastbone reaches up. And this time as you breathe out, your hands drop to the left as you twist gently to the left. Looking over your left shoulder and take 3 breaths here. Start to turn back to the center. Inhale, reach the arms up, breastbone lifts, and then exhale as you twist. Arms drop down and you look over your right shoulder. Just notice if there's a big difference between sides. And then bringing yourself back to the center, placing your hands just on your lower ribcage belly, and just take 4 breaths here to finish. Breathing in, notice your belly expand. Breathing out, notice your belly soften and recoil back. Going straight into your breath in. Continuing into your breath out. 2 more breaths with this continuous cycle of breath. And you can place your hands on your lap, open your eyes, and you're all done.